The cold February sunlight spilled through the diner's wide front windows, pale and unforgiving, revealing everything Mara Colson wished the world would overlook. Her tired eyes, the faint crack in her lipstick, the way her shoulders curved inward as if she were bracing against a blow that never quite landed but always threatened to. Valentine's Day decorations hung cheerfully above her head, red hearts and paper roses mocking the quiet dread tightening in her chest. While couples laughed over coffee and clutched pink balloons, Mara moved between tables with practiced grace, trying to disappear in plain sight, hoping the day would pass without reminding her of all the things she had learned to expect less of. If you believe that kindness still matters, and that second chances can change lives, take a moment right now to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, leave a kind comment, and subscribe to our channel Whisper Tales 3, because stories like this deserve to be felt, not forgotten. Mara had learned to avoid Valentine's Day the hard way. Years earlier, promises had been made to her in daylight just like this, promises that faded as soon as they were tested by responsibility and sacrifice. Now at 27, she balanced 2 waitressing shifts a day, nursing aching feet and a heavier ache she never named. The idea of a date felt unrealistic, almost irresponsible, when rent loomed and her mother's medical bills waited like unpaid debts to the future. She told herself love was a luxury item, something other people ordered when they could afford the extra cost. So when her phone buzzed that morning with a reminder she'd half forgotten, a tentative Valentine's lunch invitation she had agreed to weeks ago out of politeness, she silenced it and slipped it back into her apron, already planning how to disappear before noon. The diner was busiest before lunch. Sunlight bouncing off chrome surfaces, the smell of coffee and fresh bread filling the air. That was when Jonah Reyes walked in, carrying a small boy on his hip in exhaustion that matched Mara's own. Jonah was not the kind of man who announced himself. He wore simple clothes, the sleeves of his jacket slightly frayed, and his eyes held the alert softness of someone used to watching for danger and wonder at the same time. His son, Leo, clutched a worn toy truck and stared at the decorations with open fascination, as if the paper hearts were treasures instead of reminders of what adults complicated. Mara noticed them because she always noticed people who tried not to be noticed. Jonah chose a corner booth, setting Leo down gently, helping him stack sugar packets into a crooked tower. There was care in his movements, the kind that came from repetition and love rather than performance. When Mara approached with menus, she felt an unfamiliar hesitation in her chest, not romantic, just human. She smiled automatically, poured water, and returned to her routine, but her eyes kept drifting back to that booth, where a single father quietly made space for his child in a world that rarely slowed down for either of them. As the morning wore on, Mara's phone buzzed again. She knew she should respond, cancel politely, explain that work ran long. Instead, she felt a sudden heaviness, as if even sending the message would require energy she didn't have. She slipped into the back hallway for a moment, leaning against the wall, breathing through the familiar disappointment that came with choosing survival over hope. From the dining area, she could hear Leo's laughter, bright and unguarded, cutting through the clatter of dishes. It startled her how much she needed that sound. Jonah noticed more than Mara realized. He noticed how her smile faded when she thought no one was watching, how she tucked her phone away like it carried bad news, how she lingered an extra second at tables where kindness was offered without condition. When Leo spilled juice all over the table, Mara rushed over, apologizing even though it wasn't her fault, hands moving quickly to clean the mess. Jonah thanked her with a sincerity that lingered, and in that moment, something shifted. Not dramatically, not romantically, but gently, like a door opening a fraction of an inch. The day continued in small, ordinary moments. Jonah ordered simply, conscious of his budget, and Mara made sure Leo's grilled cheese was cut just right, triangles instead of squares. Sunlight crept higher, warming the diner, softening the sharp edges of the day. When Jonah went to pay, Mara tried to refuse the tip he left, larger than expected, but he only smiled and nodded toward Leo, as if to say it mattered. That small act unraveled something in her. She realized how rare it was to feel seen without being asked to perform gratitude. As Jonah gathered his things, Leo waved enthusiastically, and Mara found herself waving back, surprised by the ease of it. She watched them leave, sunlight wrapping around them as they stepped outside, And for the first time that day, the weight in her chest eased. She checked her phone again, the missed invitation staring back at her. Instead of guilt, she felt clarity. Avoiding a date wasn't cowardice, it was self-preservation. And yet, something inside her whispered that self-preservation didn't have to mean shutting every door. The afternoon slowed, the diner growing quieter, shadows stretching across the floor. Mara refilled sugar jars, wiped counters, and thought about how Jonah had moved through the world. Not rushing, not demanding, simply present. She thought about Leo's laughter and how joy could exist even when life was stitched together with compromises. When her shift finally ended, she stepped outside into the bright afternoon, heart still tender but no longer closed. She didn't have a date waiting, but she had something unexpected, a reminder that kindness could arrive without promises and still change the shape of a day. Before this story ends, we have a small but meaningful request. Please drop a heartfelt comment sharing what this story made you feel or who it reminded you of. Your words might be the encouragement someone else needs today. Mara walked home under a sky that felt wider than it had that morning, Valentine's decorations fluttering in the breeze behind her. She didn't know if she would ever see Jonah and Leo again, and maybe that wasn't the point. The point was that in the middle of an ordinary daytime shift, when she tried to avoid hope, hope had noticed her anyway. If this story touched your heart, if it made you believe even a little more in quiet kindness and unexpected connection, please like this video, share it, and stay with us. Sometimes the smallest moments leave the deepest marks, and sometimes they arrive right when we've stopped looking for them.